Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so very much for tuning in. I appreciate your interest in my 2-year, I don't know if it would be labeled as a healthy obsession, but in 2017, I wrote in the Huffington Post, I don't know if I told you, Clinton 2020 is a reality. Get ready for 8 years of Trump. Now, I wrote that from the vantage point of a person on the left. Now, I know Trump is a very good president. He's scaling back U.S. foreign policy. I don't want to sneeze. Okay. Record low unemployment. First president to step foot in North Korea. Okay, the point of this segment is the following. Clinton's campaign is in Iowa right now. Not only is she running, she will pretty much, I would imagine, sweep the primaries. But you have first, the other day, the most influential person in the Iowa caucus, Matt Paul, just catching up, talking baseball and stuff. Always great to be with Hillary Clinton. Then Greg Hale, who is Clinton's one of her officials in the 2016 campaign, worked for Democrats, Bill Clinton, as a production, set designer, location manager. I don't know exactly what his title is, but every speech, every auditorium, every place that she is seen, every venue, every location, every person that sees Hillary Clinton speak at a lectern, or every photo taken of Clinton can be linked directly to this man's decision-making in terms of where she's going to have her campaign rallies or speeches or get-togethers. He might even pick the locations of fundraisers. I'm not even sure. But he's very important to the Clinton campaign. He's hired. He's working for Clinton. He's in Iowa also. So Clinton is meeting with, I know that people are going to be like, okay, crop circles again. Oh my God, H.A. Goodman. He looked up in the sky. And Clinton's running because the sky is blue. To my super chat, by the way, thank you very, very much for your support. You give me every incentive to rock these live streams. Then he goes, okay, so Greg Hale goes, dude, this is going to light the world on fire. What is he talking about? Why would somebody working for Clinton say that about the guy who runs the Iowa Democratic, the first step in the primary? He basically is the most influential Iowa Democrat, and he's not hugging Bernie Sanders, okay? He's not hugging Warren. He's hugging Hillary Clinton, okay? So she's in Iowa, okay? Now, why is Doggy Man 83? Her slogan will be "'Cause Trump." That's it. Yeah, pretty much. Pretty much. Thank you, Doggy Man 83. Thank you. But you got to ask yourself, okay, then you have another Clinton campaign official tweeting, Greg Hale is in Iowa, and then you have a whole bunch of people, oh my God, is it happening? You better not be toying with us. It's happening. Oh my God, it's happening. Oh my God, it's happening. What do you think is happening? Do you think that Clinton is in Iowa to campaign for Warren, Elizabeth Warren? Do you think Clinton is in Iowa to campaign for Bernie Sanders or maybe Amy Klobuchar? Maybe she's in Iowa to campaign for Amy Klobuchar. Maybe that's why she's there. Does that make any sense at all? I know it's getting tiring. I know it sounds like I'm, hello, Jordan. I know it sounds like Dale. I know it sounds like, oh my God, H.A. Goodman. It's like Groundhog's Day. It's H.A. Groundhog's Day. It's the same thing every day. Oh my God, look. In 2017, I'm telling you, they don't have a political party. They have a political machine run by Clinton. Nobody has the money Clinton does. It revolves around money, and the unhealthy obsession, the derangement issues, are not with people who call this out. The only derangement issues reside with those who actually think Clinton's a normal, everyday citizen. The Golden Muumuu is not a normal, everyday citizen. What you're seeing is unbridled ambition, not witnessed since Attila the Hun. And she'll run in 2024 as well, indicted or not indicted. I do think that Democrats will call for indictments when she... Look, nothing, absolutely nothing, will prevent Madam Cyberhack from running in 2024, even if she will lose to Trump in 2020. There has never been an actual Democratic primary because they cheated Bernie Sanders. So how can you have a Democratic primary? And I don't care if you put 20 candidates. I don't care if you put 20 candidates on stage. The whole thing is a farce, a theatrical performance, and it's complete and utter nonsense. They're already campaigning in Iowa, people. Biden got 0.08%. Warren, there's nothing to Warren, nothing. There's nothing. Warren is a copy of Bernie Sanders. Why would you vote for Warren and not Bernie? She's waiting primarily because she wants to... Look, if Clinton said, I'm running again, you would definitely see a more concerted effort to prevent Clinton from running because people would be too petrified. They'd be too petrified, and they'd be too, Jack Perry! H.A. needs your magic ball for the lotto numbers. Jack, thank you. They would be too petrified. That's not the way it works. Look, you're talking about a person who purchased her own Russian hacking myth. The James Comey Clapper Brennan they set up and framed Trump. This was not about national security. This was never about national security. This was only about an extension of the Democratic Party. They lost political influence. They lost the Supreme Court. They lost the presidency. They lost the Senate. They at one point lost the House. So most state legislatures are run by Republicans. The only thing they had is an established machine, very similar to the Democratic Party, which is a political machine, but they had the D.C. establishment. So it doesn't matter when you go from Bush to President Obama. You have two sides of the same coin. Bush and President Obama are more closely aligned than are just as closely aligned as Bernie Sanders and Warren are. Why would you vote for Elizabeth Warren as opposed to Bernie Sanders? That makes no sense at all. So you have a situation where you're already weakening that vantage point, that paradigm. You want Medicare for all and whatever else Bernie stands for nowadays. Certainly not bringing home Americans. Because when Trump begins withdrawing Americans, he says, well, it has to be an orderly withdrawal. You have to understand, they're already in Iowa. So people, they are already in Iowa. Let me repeat myself, ladies and gentlemen. They are already in Iowa. Okay? And I understand. It's kind of funny to me also because, like, you would think this would be the biggest story in the world, but it's like, I have enough. Enough. I'm tired. I'm on something. I'm on something. I'm on something. If you say one more word, one more word, you know I gave you a chance, H.A. Goodman. I was with you for a while. But I'm tired of the golden moo-moo. And from here on, henceforth and forever, I'm unsubbing. Unsubbing! It's like, I get it, you know? I get it. It's boring and it's tedious and it's monotonous, but it's me. That's what I like to talk about. It's only the biggest story. I get it. It's annoying. Who wants to talk about the golden moo-moo all the time? But you will. Consider it a public service announcement every time I do these segments. I will do one about William Barr and Durham and the House voting to look into impeachment because they have nothing. I'll do all those segments. You know me. You know I have H.A. Goodman's other channel also. Check that one out. Had some great segments a couple hours back. Check it out. They're in Iowa. Hello? Does anyone care? Okay, Biden is putting people to sleep. Just like I am on my channel. The only difference is I'm actually telling everyone what's been taking place a mile ahead. This is all a charade. I'm trying to tell you. It's all a charade. And the really interesting thing is that right now, the way Clinton works and the way the media works is that they cheated Bernie Sanders in 2016, okay? There was no Democratic primary. Debbie Wasserman Schultz was forced to resign in disgrace. They don't have a Democratic primary. They don't have a political party because two people, me and my wife, are the only two people who have access to enough fundraising and money to truly run at any time she wants. So let's say she loses again, which she will. Who else has the money to run? You can add up Biden, Bernie Sanders, and Warren, all the money they've raised, and it won't even it won't even reach what Clinton raised in 2015. Ladies and gentlemen, here, I'll show you. And I mean, I'm not making this up. This is public record knowledge. So I just showed you that they're in Iowa. Now, Clinton, 100 million, 2015. So Hillary Clinton's campaign 2015 exceeds fundraising goal. We're almost at the end of 2019. By the end of 2015, at around this time, Clinton shatters. This is CNN, the trusted news the trusted source of news. Hillary Clinton shatters 100 million fundraising goal. You can add up, literally add up, Bernie, Warren, and Joe Biden, who's losing money, so that you actually lose money there, and it wouldn't reach 100 million. She has a new foundation, Onward Together. Why would she not run? Because Bill Maher said no? Because you're frightened and petrified? Because Democrats know that their political party, it will finally be seen for what it is, a complete sham and farce and theatrical performance? Because she will rip whatever semblance or notion of a political party apart? She doesn't care. There is no political party. It is two people. It's a political machine. We've had political machines before. I mean, I don't understand. She raised $112 million. $112 million by the very end of 2015. On her way to $1.2 billion. And she'll get easily $2 billion this election. This is a CNN article from 2015. Hillary Clinton presidential campaign announced Friday it raised $37 million for the primary campaign last 3 months, breaking the $100 million goal of the campaign had set earlier this year. She raised $112 million, according to CNN. Okay? $112 million. So, that's pretty good. It's pretty good. $112 million. Bernie doesn't even come close. He has what, about 60 million? Warren has what, about 60 million? So if you add Warren and Bernie together, doesn't even come close. And Biden's losing money. Less than 60 million. Let's see here. I mean, I don't understand why this is like Democrats, they truly think, like a lot of them truly think, Jack Perry! At debate, Trump brought Clinton accusers. You can trust someone about to get impeach your husband. Exactly. Jack Perry. Thank you, Jack. Thank you, Jack. And that actually helped Bill Clinton. Jack Perry, that actually helped Bill Clinton. Tree climbing! Bill and Hillary could both be impeached, a family tradition. Yeah, I don't think that I don't think that she would. Tree climbing, Hill Dog should be an HA Patreon. Thank you, tree climbing. Thank you. But you look at each candidate, and it's like Biden, Buttigieg, and Harris, if you combine all of them, it's $46 million. Clinton approached that in 1 quarter. I mean, there's no, like, you cannot compete in politics with somebody that raises more money than Joe Biden up until this point, and he's supposed to be the front runner in most polls, only has $36 million that he's raised for for all of 2019. Clinton raised $112 million. Okay, Bernie has raised $73 million thus far. But they cheated him. He raised $200 million, and they defrauded $200 million. In 2016. I don't understand, if there was a fraud committed, why people would then donate money again. What makes anyone believe, why would anyone believe that Bernie Sanders wouldn't be cheated again? Look what they've done to Tulsi Gabbard. Look what they did to Andrew Yang. I don't understand it. So Clinton raised $112 million. That's basically almost 3 times as much as Joe Biden, and Joe Biden is supposed to be the front runner. Now, Bernie Sanders raised $73 million. Elizabeth Warren raised $60 million. But that doesn't mean everyone who gave to Elizabeth. Why would you give to Elizabeth Warren and not Bernie? Because she's 20 steps closer to the establishment. And so the vast majority of that money is going to go directly to the DNC or directly to Clinton. And guess what? Bernie Sanders, no matter what he raises, is going to go to the DNC, just like what happened last time around. He raised $200 million and they cheated him. But he never said, give my voters, give my supporters the $200 million back. Then she spent $1.2 billion, and Trump only spent $600 million. And a lot of it was his own money. They don't have a political party because they don't have the Rolodex. Look, there are 2 ways in politics to make to raise money. 2 ways. One is to actually have policies that excite people. So Bernie Sanders does, even if his policies might not be feasible. Maybe they are feasible, who knows? But the Mercatus study says they're not, and the Democratic Party says they're not going to follow through or vote on them. So I could be wrong, but Democrats, when they put their money where their mouth is, or their votes where they're pontificating, they don't walk the walk. They talk the talk. They don't walk the walk. So there are 2 ways to make money. One is with policies that you're pushing. The other is with a Rolodex of billionaires and corporations and CEOs and Hollywood executives and celebrities and everyone on the planet who's super wealthy and influential. That's Clinton. Then she'll push the safest Democratic Party policies, which in many cases are just marginally better than Republicans, according to the alleged value system of liberals. In addition to the fact that they're just openly more militant, which is exactly why people vote for Trump, which is exactly why I'm voting for President Trump. Ladies and gentlemen, although there are a lot of other things I like about President Trump, he's going after corrupt intelligence officials. If he was not an anti-interventionist, if he didn't have the opposite foreign policy as Hillary Clinton, I wouldn't vote for him. I wouldn't be a Trump supporter. If President Trump had an interventionist foreign policy, then he would be a much more effective or a smarter or a better version. Or no, he wouldn't be Paul Ryan, but I wouldn't vote for him. He would be just maybe a more interesting Republican. His foreign policy, that's why I voted Jill Stein. That's why I voted Bernie Sanders. That's why I was pushing for Bernie Sanders, in addition to things like getting us out of the Trans-Pacific Partnership, which Trump did. And I explain in The Federalist why Bernie supporters of 2016 should vote Trump 2020. Another reason to vote Trump, in addition to the fact that his foreign policy is scaling back the failures and blunders of both President Bush and President Obama. In addition to you have a president who's going after corrupt intelligence officials. They were lying and deceiving all from day one. They were lying and deceiving from day one. And they set up and framed President Trump. Michael Moore, Hillary so cool she was selling tickets. Probably. Or maybe a speech during, heaven forbid. But, I mean, Michael Moorhead, thank you. You don't raise... Politics is about raising money. And also being able to utilize media. And being able to communicate a message. Clinton does not communicate much of a message. But she has virtual, complete, almost the entire media machine is behind Clinton. Okay? There's basically everyone on the left views Clinton to be their only conduit to the White House. Their only chance at the White House. They know very well that Elizabeth Warren doesn't even appeal to a great many Bernie Sanders supporters or Tulsi Gabbard supporters. They have no clue what her foreign policy is. Her foreign policy is probably very much like Clinton's. She doesn't even talk about foreign policy. Have you heard Elizabeth Warren ever speak out against interventions where we remove the authoritarian and then, you know what breaks loose? Have you ever heard Elizabeth Warren say, we want to end quagmires and never-ending military conflict? She's never said that. That's why the type of person who's voting Elizabeth Warren is the person who would, in a heartbeat, vote for Clinton, but likes, Medicare for all, but you're okay with Clinton. I mean, that's the issue. The issue is why, okay, when they say, we don't want Clinton, let someone else, let someone else win, or Doug F610, word on the net says Assange very ill now. Will Trump act? Well, look, there's certain things on YouTube you can't, really discuss. Julian Assange is a hero, and I wish him only the best, and God bless him. And, I don't know if President Trump is going to, I don't think President Trump, I'll say this, the Democratic Party, President Obama, and mainly the Golden Muumuu, they're the primary reasons that a publisher is suffering right now. Okay, if you commute Chelsea Manning's sentence and then you go after her publisher, that's the height of hypocrisy right there. Luke St. Martin, Eric H526, thank you both, always. Luke St. Martin, thank you. I have the best moderators on this channel. Luke St. Martin, thank you. Eric H526, thank you. So Doug F610, I think that, I think that's a situation where ultimately Assange will be victorious. But, God bless him. I know that this is why it's so egregious when Brennan is like, oh my goodness, a very courageous person went and told on Trumpy. It's like, my God, there are people whose lives have been, there are people who have suffered to tell the truth. Look, the Democratic Party cheated a candidate. They said it was a fair and neutral primary. This should never be accepted by anyone, but it is. This can't be accepted by anyone, but it is. It's almost like things take place, and instead of actually, like things take place where if you were to hear in the beginning of 2015, if you were to hear that, oh, you know what, Democrats were actually going to just cheat Bernie Sanders, and they never had a chance, and he never had a chance, and they were actually just going to deceive voters. If you were to hear that, ladies and gentlemen, if you were to hear that, people would revolt. They would, Democrats at that point would be like, no way, we wouldn't accept this. I mean, we like Clinton, but we wouldn't accept this. I truly believe that if Democrats were told the reality, but then the election season starts, then they keep thinking about Trump, then they keep obsessing over whether or not they'll lose, then they say, okay, well, this is politics, and this is the Democratic Party, and the Democratic Party demands obedience. Democratic Party is the only party where they say you have to fall in line. Republicans don't say that. I mean, the vast majority of Republicans will vote for a Republican, but if the RNC cheated a candidate, and the Democrats were like, where are their emails? Well, they weren't as corrupt as you. That's the problem. Oh, yeah, right. Like, no, they didn't cheat anyone. They tried to cheat Trump. It didn't work. They tried to cheat President Trump. It didn't work. So, but with Democrats, you have to fall in line. And so they cheated Bernie Sanders, and had people just found out what was going to take place before the primary, they would never have accepted. But Democrats eventually accepted that Bernie Sanders was cheated, and you know what? So what? Their whole thing is so what? It's Clinton's turn. And you're going to have a lot of people pretend. They're going to be like, oh, well, no, you know what? We don't want to, Clinton again. Oh, my goodness, no way. It's going to be the same thing, but this time any resistance will be crushed a lot sooner than last year or 2016. Because you have people saying, well, I'm not going to vote for Hillary. Or if Hillary runs, I'm not going to vote for her. Oh, my God, they're going to turn into H.A. Goodman. They don't want to do that. They don't want to become H.A. Badman. So they're going to vote for Clinton again and lose again. That's what's going to happen. I called that in 2017, but again, they don't care. But she'll lose. They don't care. But she'll be humiliated. She doesn't care. She doesn't know what humiliation is. She doesn't care. But she could be indicted eventually if Democrats turn on her. She doesn't care. Haha, Eric H526, yeah. She doesn't care. But Democrats will be upset. She doesn't care, and no, they won't. That's not the way Democrats work. So then you have Matt Paul, just catching up, talking baseball and stuff. Always great to be with Hillary Clinton. And he's hugging Hillary Clinton. Why do you think he's doing that? Then you have Greg Hale, dude, this is going to light the world on fire. These people who are working for Clinton are talking to one another and saying, yeah, Philip Reigns all the time. He's like, he always, it's not just hints. He's literally saying, yeah, we worked 5 hours, da-da-da. He even goes on Tucker Carlson and says, you know what? She hasn't closed the door. Well, why would she close the door? Christian O'Brien, yes. Why would she close the door? There was never a door there anyway. It was just a long corridor leading to Clinton. So, I mean, everything that you see, it's not about Trump. Okay. The media obsesses over Trump's personality because Democrats don't have a political party that energizes voters. What they rely on is contempt for Trump's, hubris or arrogance or personality or what they view to be bigotry, or, they'll look, if they judged Clinton by the same standards as Trump, she literally stated a phrase, they all look alike. This was with Kara Swisher. And then the moderator was like, oh, Hillary, come on, really? And even people were like gasping, like, what? But she got away with it. In this day and age, if a Republican said that, it would be national news. And then they actually came out, just like what they did with the Tulsi insult. They said, she was trying to tell off the interviewer because the interviewer couldn't decide whether the person she was talking about was Eric Holder or President Obama, something along those lines. So she was trying to shame the interviewer. She wasn't trying to make a joke that if anyone made the same joke would be seen as racist. Do you understand? There's nothing that Clinton can do where it's off limits. That's why Trump will win, because they don't have a value system that spans beyond their political allegiances or partisanship. They don't care. It's not that they live their lives by a code or by some kind of ethical system. Their lives are dependent upon just the attainment of political influence. That's it. And Clinton is their meal ticket, or, they're going to ride that Titanic Lusitania ship once again. They're going to ride that because they have no one else. When people look at, we have so many great candidates. No, you don't. There's nobody great there, no, except Tulsi Gabbard. And Bernie Sanders was already cheated. It's like, look, how are you going to fight the 1% if you can't fight Debbie Wasserman Schultz? Bernie Sanders could have simply said, look, I won't even do the voice. I was cheated. You cheated me and my voters. You took $200 million from us. Okay? It wasn't a fair primary. I didn't get the media coverage that Clinton got, primarily because you had DNC officials working overtime to paint a message that I was unelectable. And that is in the DNC emails, where they're actually working out strategies to undermine Bernie. Then the rebuttal is, well, those specific strategies weren't published by people. It's like, yes, they were. The whole thing. The debates were... the media coverage for Bernie Sanders in 2016 was horrendous. I mean, horrendous. They didn't give him a chance. The only article, my articles went viral and they say, oh, yeah, let's just click. No, because you know what? I made Democrats, I made progressives and liberals uncomfortable. That's why a lot of people don't like me on the left, because I didn't play ball. And that's why the Ross Story and the Daily Beast and all of them wrote hit pieces on me, because they didn't play ball. I said, look, you have one criminal, and then there's Bernie Sanders. And he's actually really energizing people. He's really going to shake up the system, which would also mean at that point we didn't know that the Comey, Strzok, McCabe, Clapper, Brennan, and all of them were doing something sinister. We had no idea. So, I mean, you're talking about people who literally utilize the United States government as an extension of the Democratic Party. This is a fact. It's not even opinion. It is a fact. Facebook ads, allegedly from Putin, are not national security. Nobody cares about them. Nobody cares. Nobody cares. They can't even describe a Facebook ad that they saw. They can't even describe a Facebook ad that they saw that influenced their vote, because there was none. There wasn't a Facebook ad out there that influenced their vote. That didn't happen. It didn't happen. So, I mean, and this is the hilarious thing, is that they're so petrified of Clinton running, but they know that within 2 weeks, most, I'm not saying all, but most of the opposition will be crushed. And then you'll have Bernie campaigning. Once Clinton wins the primary, you'll have Bernie Sanders endorsing, and everyone from AOC to Bernie to Warren, well, definitely Warren. Warren didn't even have the courage In addition to failing her DNA test, she didn't even have the courage to back Bernie Sanders in 2016, even though she's a carbon copy of Bernie. So then they say, well, Clinton won fair and square. Then they say, well, Russia hacked the DNC to embarrass the DNC. Well, what was embarrassing? Clinton won fair and square. Well, what was embarrassing? Was it the fact that she cheated, Bernie? And you have, like, every single day in the news, Hillary Clinton is in the news every single day. Every single day. God put her on earth to be president. Heed Clinton's warning on Tulsi Gabbard. Wasserman Schultz, Democrats did not tilt 2016 primary in Clinton's favor. Judicial panel rules. Why did she resign then? This is hilarious. This is hilarious. Did not tilt. And then you have another article saying, election interference, 2016 paper trail suggests fraud in Democratic primaries. Which, of course, there was. So, let's put everything that we know to be true. Because, like, Debbie Wasserman Schultz resigned for a reason. Why did she resign? They cite Alexis de Tocqueville. Oh my God. This is hilarious. Well, look. Wasserman Schultz, Democrats did not tilt 2016 primary in Clinton's favor. Judicial panel rules. Okay. So this is even more confirmation because Debbie Wasserman Schultz resigned for a reason. So did she resign because she just wanted to for some? She wanted to go golfing? Why did she resign? Why did she resign? That's the question. Carl's opinion. Hey, Mr. Goodman, Mods in chat, Carl and Cartman. Carl's opinion. Say hello to Cartman. Thank you so very much. Carl's opinion. Thank you so much. Carl. They didn't cheat Bernie Sanders. This is hilarious. They didn't tilt, even though the DNC emails show that they wanted to paint Bernie as an atheist so Clinton could win certain primaries. Or that they met up with journalists, great many journalists. Or that that one Politico and New York Times reporters were viewed as friendly journalists, and also one actually gave Clinton's campaign manager an article pre-publication to look at and said, don't tell anyone. Don't tell anyone I'm doing this. Do you think they gave that opportunity to anyone else? The DNC emails weren't shown in this judicial panel. So there you go. Darren Matheny, thank you. Thank you, Darren. Carl's opinion. Thank you, Carl, as always. Thank you, Carl. Darren, thank you. I don't know. It's just, you know what it is? It's like, it's too bad because there are good people who are Bernie Sanders supporters. They're really good people, and they're living they're living a Freddy Krueger Nightmare on Elm Street existence. I really love M. Night Shyamalan. I love his movies. I love M. Night Shyamalan. There are good people who are always just getting, run over by the system. Let's hear this. So, let's see here. Let's see. I'm trying to get some information on. So, anyway, it's like ridiculous to even look. So yeah, so now they're rewriting history. Let them just simply enjoy the repercussions of their treachery. That's all I can say. Debbie Wasserman Schultz resigned for a reason. The DNC emails almost certainly weren't part of this judicial review. Okay, hold on one second. Let's just see here. They literally stated it in the DNC fraud lawsuit that we can legally choose our candidates over cigars in the back room. So how on earth do you get this nonsense of then they say, well, Trump is accused of treason. It's like, oh, really? How? What did he do? And furthermore, not only did he not do anything, not only did he not do anything, Mueller found nothing. And then Mueller's like, well, if we were convinced that he didn't commit a crime, that's not the way the Western legal system works. You have to prove that somebody committed a crime, not exonerate the person based on your suspicions. If that were the case, Clinton has been convicted 1,000 times this year alone. They investigated Clinton based on a Steele dossier. They investigated Trump, I should say, based on a Steele dossier. And they're now saying that the DNC didn't cheat Bernie Sanders. So it's all topsy-turvy. But see, again, this is to pave the way for Clinton. They don't have a political party. They're going to lose again. And they're actually going to, who knows what's going to happen with the Democratic Party. I really don't care. It's probably going to just be, Clinton's going to obliterate it and then pretend that it's still functioning and then run again in 2024. That's where I think President Obama, I think that President Obama and Democrats who want President Obama and Michelle Obama to take over control of the Democratic Party from the Clintons, I think you'll see people saying, maybe Clinton did commit crimes in the Democratic Party. You'll see Democrats say, basically speaking like me. Because the derangement issues aren't with people who question why Clinton hasn't been indicted. The derangement issues are with people who are okay with it. Sanderford! Tammany Hall does cast a long and insidious shadow, absolutely. Barbara, I like the fact that he's scaling back U.S. foreign policy. Foreign policy, to me, is the most important issue. We need to bring home Americans, and the New York Times has stated, and his policies are eventually to remove Americans from quagmires, all Americans. And the New York Times, Chris, thank you. The New York Times. One article is like, he's going to remove all 14 to 15,000 Americans from a country they should have been removed from. I don't want to get too into it in the live stream because YouTube is sensitive. You say certain countries, whatever, but you know which country I'm talking about. Which two countries I'm talking about. But, look, at the end of the day, this year is going to be it's not going to be a good year for Democrats because it's not like, look, people who vote Trump don't care what media, or they don't care what media thinks, or the group, the peer pressure, or the group think, or the propaganda spin. There are 3 to 4 to 5 reasons why people vote Trump. One is foreign policy. They want a non-interventionist foreign policy. The other is they want to make sure that unelected intelligence officials don't side with a political party to undermine another political party or candidate. The other is, okay, you removed us from the Trans-Pacific Partnership, and you want to address the $400 billion trade deficit with China. The other one is, look, the economy is doing well. He signed the First Step Act. So they can talk about his personality and his words, the words that he uses and all. What he's doing is actually good for people of all different backgrounds in the United States of America. And then when they want to say, well, he did this, and that, look at President Obama's record. Did Trump, what if President Trump went to Flint, Michigan and drank? What if President Trump went to Flint, Michigan and drank water that while it was still poisonous and said, you know what? It's filtered, but it's good. It's good enough to drink and to deceive people. It wasn't good enough to drink. He still did so. What if President Trump presided over Standing Rock? I mean, what media does. Look, there aren't many people with "Make America Great Again" or "Keep America Great Again" hats going into the New York Times, the Washington Post, MSNBC, or CNN. They all are scorned. They all were mortified. They wanted retribution. And the quote-unquote intelligence community, which isn't a community, it's about 20 to 30 very corrupt officials, headed by Comey and McCabe and Strzok and Clapper and Brennan, utilized the media as well because they wanted a paradigm. The paradigm is, look, if you don't get Bush, you get President Obama. Pretty much two sides of the same coin on foreign policy and a whole bunch of things. At least it's the establishment. At least it's intervention, military interventions, endless conflict, and a foreign policy that works one way, really just one way. Whether you had Bush's failures and catastrophes or you had President Obama in Libya, it's a foreign policy that works one way. You can't have Trump. Because if you have Trump, oh my God, he's going to, reverse everything. Court Kilgo! I don't get it. If Clinton already won, but had it stolen from her, why aren't Dems demanding that she be the nominee? It should be her second term, but they know she lost and will lose again. Exactly. Court Kilgo also, they cannot admit that H.A. Badman was right. They can't admit my philosophy or my mentality that the whole thing's set up and rigged. They need to pretend. It's like a married man that gives lectures about relationships and has like 10 mistresses. If you're married and you're like, let me give you the key to a good relationship. Okay, listen to these 10 principles. And then you have, you're cheating on your wife with like 10 different people. Well, the reality is not what your actions and the reality of the situation is not how you are portraying yourself. So Democrats are like, it's like having Thanksgiving with Bernie Madoff at the head of the table. It's like, I just want a big toast to everybody. Have a wonderful Thanksgiving, and we worked really hard for this, and I'm just so glad to have everyone here. It's like, oh my God, Bernie Madoff, related to Bernie Madoff. He is at the head of the Thanksgiving table. It's like, you know what? The Democratic, this is kind of crude, but the Democratic Party can be summed up with the following. It's a political party where everything they do, all the duplicity, the treachery, the disingenuous politics, the underhanded, shady cheating and manipulation. It's basically a political party that is. So how was the play, Mrs. Lincoln? It's that type of political party. Like, the biggest story in the room is that they cheated Bernie Sanders. They lost with Clinton. They blamed Russia. And they're still going to go back to the same Titanic. It's basically like hitting an iceberg again and going back on the Titanic, and it's slowly sinking. But see, it's a political machine. People will make a lot of money. There are contracts that you have to spend. Look, you get campaign money. Look, she's going to raise $2 billion. You don't think that people connected with the Democratic Party, forget about just the consultants. I'm talking about, vendors. How many vendors does she everything, That campaign probably employs thousands of people, but forget about that. Indirectly, but forget about that. How many wealthy individuals, how many people, CFOs, CEOs, Hollywood producers, DC politicians, how many people benefit from Clinton running, even if she loses? So, Court Kilgo, how many people benefit? How many people benefit even if Clinton loses? You think media benefits from a Warren versus Trump, where every single day Trump tweets about the picture of the Texas bar application? Every single day? I don't think so. You think media makes billions from a Trump-Clinton rematch? You think even if Clinton loses, she can't be like, look, I tried, and there's no failure in trying, little ones? And for all the young women out there watching, yeah, I lost again, okay? This time it was the Russians and extraterrestrials from Mars. But I tried. Okay? Okay? You're not going to tell me not to try. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so very much, everyone. Everyone, thank you so very much. Carl's Opinion, thank you, everyone. Thank you so very much. To my super chat, thank you. And God bless everyone. I will be back later this evening with a live stream. And check out H.A. Goodman's other channel right now. Thank you, everyone. Have a great... It's happening, people. It's happening right before our very eyes. And everyone's like, yeah, there's H.A. Goodman again. Tell your friends. H.A.'s telling you she's running. And I told you everything else that's going to happen. Thank you so very much.